Incidents. Seder play, which we don't really have any example of, but our understanding is that it was pretty raunchy stuff. Might not be the kind of material that I would share with a group of 18 and 19-year-olds here in Central Arkansas, but it's not really out there for me to share anyways. And then tragedy. I don't know how you are. I don't really, I'm not a negative person. I don't dwell in a lot of negative feelings. And so tragedy for me is kind of a difficult one. I don't watch I don't listen to breakup songs, and I don't watch sad movies. Tragedy is its own sort of unique category. What makes something tragic? Not sad, tragic. If someone dies who is 75, I highly doubt that we call that death a tragic loss. If someone is 17 and they die, I think we're much more likely to attach the term tragedy to that. Part of that is expectation. We are not surprised if someone 75 passes away. We are pretty surprised if a 17-year-old passes away. Maybe the nature of the death. I do think that if a drunk driver runs into your car and you are killed in that accident, in something where you weren't doing anything wrong, even anything out of the ordinary, I do think we're much more likely to connect that to a tragic loss. I had a student a few semesters ago who was a non-traditional student, a mom in her, I don't know, she was about 40, I would guess. Husband wanted to go out for ice cream on a Sunday afternoon. She didn't really want to go. They were living up north somewhere. It was pretty cold. And he convinced her to go. And she was pretty not happy about it, probably pretty fussy about it. They pull out and get on the road, and somewhere between home and the ice cream store, they are hit by a drunk driver. Tragic accident in which one of their children is killed. I think we attach tragedy to the loss of a child. I think it brings up an interesting point, which is, what is the role of choice? Something we're going to talk about a lot during the course of this semester. How do you go about making choices, right? I've been divorced a couple of times. I've made good, bad, and otherwise in terms of choices. Sometimes what I thought were the big choices in the story that I just told you, going out for ice cream, didn't seem like it would be something that has life-altering consequences, yet for that young lady it did. And so when we get into tragedy, it's usually pretty heavy, and it's something unexpected, and it sort of has this quality that you just kind of have a hard time maybe really pinning down. I think generally speaking, the outcome is not positive. When we speak of a tragedy, we mean something that has tremendously negative, life-altering consequences. Claims a life or maims a life or something. I don't think your favorite sandwich coming off the menu at your favorite restaurant is considered tragic, although it may indeed be life-altering. But I think there is a sense that this has altered the course of your life and is maybe something you cannot come back from. Tragedy. Now, there are actually a couple of ancient Greek tragedies that I could pull from, but I use a more modern one in this class, a play called Death of a Salesman. Written in 1947 in the wake, in the closing of World War II. Now, ironically, in the U.S., a lot of people don't understand this. During World War II, there are ration books. You couldn't just go buy chocolate, tires, sugar. some of the staples of basic life because everything was all in on a war effort overseas. And so if you had money and if you had a ration coupon, you could buy it. And if you didn't have both of those things, then you couldn't buy it. That extends past the end of World War II in 1945 all the way up into 1947. And the world has been altered. Our world has been altered. The United States has been altered. We are the conquering hero, and yet hundreds of thousands of soldiers didn't come home from that. And many, many who did had a difficult time re-assimilating back into life. And Death of a Salesman is written in the wake of that. And it's a show about a salesman named Willie Loman and his two sons, Biff and Happy, and his wife, Linda. It's a little confusing to read. I'm going to ask you to watch it. There are some dream sequences, and this is a movie format. It doesn't follow the play 100%, but it's close. And I think it's a pretty good representation, and I think it gets at the heart of what tragedy